Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. Welcome on my channel in case you're new here. My name is Robin Shindelka and I'm a life coach who specializes in helping people recover from an existential crisis, from anxiety, from depersonalization, derealization, and other mental health topics. And I'm a very strong believer in mental challenges or emotional challenges being opportunities for growth, which is why I wanted to explain today why what I think is the bigger meaning, or as you want to say, spiritual meaning behind having an existential crisis. Because I know that 99% of the people that follow me on this channel are here because they do in fact struggle with existential fears, existential um, challenges, thoughts, and it's sometimes difficult to see the meaning in that or to see why that is happening from a bigger perspective. And me, as something that has gotten through it myself, has been able to see the whole process kind of from a distance and see the evolution of why it had to happen. And also in a lot of my clients that have been able to recover, I see the same kind of journey in them as well. I thought I'd just take a quick moment today to share with you what my insights are on why the existential crisis happens, why it's important, and what the meaning on a bigger spiritual level of that is. And if you feel triggered by terms such as spirituality or whatever, I do want to recommend you to just keep watching because I know that there's this idea that it's gonna trigger you even more. But the way I view spirituality is basically continuing on a journey to grow as a being on this planet. So to grow from within, to evolve, and to find truth inside instead of just gaining scientific truth or rational truth. So the best way to explain what I think is the spiritual meaning of an existential crisis is kind of by looking at the existential crisis in three phases. So you have the before phase, you have the during phase, and then you have the after phase. The before phase, when everything's fine, and a lot of my clients refer to that as like the dream stage where they wish they could go back to, is basically the time in your life where you thought you had control, where you thought you had things figured out, and you were at peace. So you were at peace with life because you were like, I know what life is. I have everything figured out. Like, I have problems, I have struggles, there's maybe things going on, but like, I feel like I know what life is. I feel like I'm in control of it, and I feel like I can pretty much predict like what's gonna happen. And then something happens, which is often the traumatic event, which can be a bad weed experience, which can be corona, like the general pandemic, or having corona yourself, which can be any other pretty much traumatic experience that kind of rocks your idea or expectations of life. And that is mostly when one realizes how much there actually is that we don't have control over and that we don't know. So the second phase here starts where basically you lose your sense of control, you lose your sense of certainty, and therefore, because you had attached your peace to that in a sense, you also lose your inner peace. You lose your groundness, like your groundedness in life. And that's when the crisis starts because you feel like there's not really anything you can hold on to anymore. The things you used to kind of grab to, you now have no certainty over anymore. You now no longer have like that control and that feeling of just being grounded in life as it is. So that's when the search begins, and the first place that people go look for peace again is in trying to regain that control. So they try to regain control by trying to search for truth, search for science, search for things you could attach to and hold on to. But because you have this realization now of this lack of control or this lack of certainty, you can't really get that again. You can't really go back to the place where you just kind of told yourself that you have everything under control. So then you go on to the third stage, which is basically the only way out of an existential crisis, which is to start finding peace detached from your ability to control or gain certainty about life. And this is where the spiritual journey starts. Because the moment you ask yourself the question, what is unconditional peace? Which means peace without conditions or without me saying life needs to be a certain way in order for me to gain peace. We start to go on this inner journey within ourselves. We start to go within ourselves and see what is peace. Like, how can I actually feel peace within me, irrespective of what's going on in the world, like, irrespective of my control over it, irrespective of my certainty about it. And why is this such a spiritual thing? Is because for me, spiritual means looking at your own spirit, going within, digging deeper. And you wouldn't have went on that journey had that second stage never happened. If you would have never had your whole world shaken by something that confronts you with this lack of control, you would have happily stayed in the sleeping stage of just kind of convincing yourself that you do have control. And then your peace is very conditional. So your peace is still detached, like attached to things and people and circumstances in life. And the thing that the existential crisis does is it shakes your whole foundation so much that you need to start looking for peace elsewhere. You need to start looking for it within yourself. And that's so difficult. It's such a challenge, but growth never comes within your comfort zone. Growth always comes from like going out of your comfort zone. And that's where the third stage comes in, which is where you are able to find peace with the uncontrollability and uncertainty of life. And that is the definition of unconditional peace, finding peace within, finding inner freedom. The moment you let go of the need to control life, you find control over yourself. You find inner control over your spirit. You find this connection to your spirit. You find this connection to yourself. And I guarantee you, you find happiness that's so much deeper than the happiness you had in the first stage. And to use a beautiful analogy that I've used with many of my clients and that you all probably have heard of, is this butterfly analogy. A caterpillar, in order to become a butterfly and truly be free and beautiful, it needs to go through this phase being in this darker cocoon where it's kind of stuck, where it feels trapped, where it's dark, where it's messy, where it needs to go through this transformation. And it's the same thing with the existential crisis. And when you're in that cocoon, the only thing you have to refer to is like the caterpillar period. And of course, you'd rather be a caterpillar than to be in this cocoon. But if you truly surrender to the experience, if you truly take it as a challenge to look for deeper inner peace in an unconditional sense, you're going to come out at the other way as a butterfly, and then you'll truly be free. You'll truly have the experience of freedom, because your happiness and peace is no longer determined by life, is no longer determined by the circumstances in your life. And that is the spiritual meaning of an existential crisis. So I really hope this video helped you. I hope you gained something from it. Know that I have a full recovery course if you're struggling with existential fears, DPDR, or anxiety. You're always welcome to have a look. It's also fully refundable in case it doesn't help you, so you're not really taking a risk. I just really want to help you out. And in case you're looking for a more personal approach, you can always schedule an intake session with me for coaching. This is a free session where we just get to know each other and see if working together might be something for you. So feel free to use that. And I wish you a lovely, lovely day and good luck with your journey towards inner peace again. I'm sure you can do it. And I'll see you guys in my next video.